Good morning. So it's January the 14th, and did some metrics gathering this morning and found out that I weighed 181.1 pounds. So over the period of the last 24 hours, it seems like my body's been able to dispose of like almost a pound again. I wasn't expecting as much because I ate a new meal yesterday and I didn't exactly know what the calorie count was going to be, but I did look it all up and it looks like it worked. So my wife made cuttlefish, which is something that we have once in a while. And she made it with a couple of vegetables mixed in, so I couldn't measure just the cuttlefish, but what I was able to do is pick the cuttlefish out, weigh it, then start adding vegetables to it, and then the vegetables I know, they're very low in calories. So it was a substantial meal, and it tasted very good. It was far larger than I thought it could be, right? Like the visual of it was just, it's big, but cuttlefish is really low in calories, very high in protein, probably has some other bad things in it that you probably don't want, like a lot of sodium and maybe some mercury, who knows. We don't have it too often, but we do have fish on a fairly regular basis. It's one of our family diets. So anyway, figured it out, and then she also threw in some green beans, which was new. I hadn't had green beans on this diet, but had it in my spreadsheet, was able to look that up, and so added up my grams of food, had a substantial meal, wasn't hungry at all, and yesterday was not hungry. But I woke up this morning thinking, maybe I didn't lose any weight, right? But I did. I was 181.9 yesterday, I believe. And so this morning I'm 181.1, which is good. It's good progress. And so here are my stats, and I've kind of revised my little sheet. I made that video, but I've kind of picked it up, and I'll make another video of this at some point. But I've been able to kind of modify this to give it more clarity and also to make it a little bit more accurate. I think I was making some assumptions, and I made a mistake on what the start date was and all that stuff, and how many pounds I was actually trying to lose. I'm trying to lose 30 pounds, but for some reason I only had 29 pounds here because my original target was to be 165, but it's 164 now. Let's go for 30 pounds. Let's do the 30 pounds. So my goal, I started on January the 1st at 194, and I didn't really diet on that day. And my goal is to lose 30 pounds in 60 days. And so today I weighed in at 181.1. And according to this sheet, hopefully I'm correct here, hopefully my math is correct, I've already knocked out 12.9 pounds in the last 13 days. So I'm averaging about a pound a day of weight loss, which is far better than I expected. I was really aiming for a half a pound a day, which itself is aggressive. That's 3.5 pounds a week, roughly. So that's a very aggressive move right there. And they recommend only maybe a couple pounds a week. But, I don't care. I'm going to try to do at least 3.5 pounds a week. And right now I'm doing a pound a day, 3.5 pounds a week. And right now I'm doing a pound a day. So I'm averaging about 7 pounds a week. And I'm liking the results. I'm not feeling bad. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I've got 12.9 pounds down in 13 days. I have 47 days to lose 17.1 pounds. So right now, given that my life is very controlled and stable, and I've got controlled variables that I can rely on, which is like I eat at home, and I know where all my food is. I'm not eating out every day. I'm not sort of subject to whatever the whims are of a restaurant. So right now, under this very controlled environment, I'm able to maintain this. So I think that I can achieve my goal of losing 30 pounds in the next 67. I've got 47 days to lose 12.7, and I've been able to lose 13 and 13 roughly. So doing well. I'm liking the stats. I'm liking the way that I'm gathering this stuff, gathering the data about it. I just probably showed you a video at the beginning. Started with just the vitamins that I was taking, which is just basically an omega-3 supplement. I take 3 of those, and it's a substantial amount. I like that. And I take a GNC multivitamin. I take 2 of those, and then I take a vitamin E supplement. Just because vitamin E is, vitamin D. My apologies. Vitamin D. I take a vitamin D supplement. in addition to the multivitamin that I have. So I'm taking a little bit over 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. Not getting as much sun as I do in the summer, but I am going out with the kids every day, but it's not enough. It's just like I'm just not going out enough right now. I normally do, but lately I just haven't been. So that's good. And I also punched in my, where my sheet was able to grab my daily weight, and then it recalculated how many calories I'm allowed to have today on this diet so that I can maintain that same amount of weight loss tomorrow and the next day and the next week. And my calorie count went down by 4 calories today. So, you know, I got to knock off 4 calories. And where did I knock it off? In the most useless food that I eat, which is rice. I'm down to just a little over, like maybe I'm probably getting like 2 tablespoons of rice for this lunch over here. I know it's silly that I'm holding on to rice, but it's my mechanics, right? This is the way I'm doing it, and I know that I can carve out calories right here. This is where I can sacrifice my calories to reduce my calories every day. I know that. And if I didn't have that, then I'd have to start cutting back on meat, and I'd feel kind of weird about that because that's where my protein is, or I'd have to cut back on my vegetables, and that's where my micronutrients are. And I'd feel a little weird about doing that, and I don't think that I'd feel right about that. So I like having that little sacrificial rice area. And some of you might think that that's silly, but you know, I think it's working for me, right? And whatever works for you, you know, figure out a process that works for you, and move on with that. I like having my spreadsheets. I think my spreadsheets have been really useful for me. It gives me a sense of control, and it gives me a sense of tracking what's going on. I know exactly what's going on. I've been, you know, the kind of work that I do is I've been tracking metrics for a long time, and I know, and I've read quite a bit about performance improvement, and I've been a performance improvement person and a performance improvement person in my professional life. It's all I've ever sought is continuous performance improvement. And I've been tracking metrics in one form or another for 30 years. And I can tell you right now, if you don't track metrics, if you don't measure your results, you don't know what's happening. And I'm a big believer in measuring input and output, right? So I like to do the leading and lagging indicators of anything. So it was pretty easy for me, just coming from the background that I have, to figure out what metrics can I gather, right? It's easy, right? It's calorie and protein going in, and then going out, it's going to be weight. It's pretty simple, right? This is well defined. You can find this stuff on the internet, but the discipline is actually doing it, spending the time to create the tools that you need to lose the weight. So, you know, that's an aspect. It's a mental aspect that I find makes this process easier. I mentioned in an earlier video that it's not actually losing the weight that's the hardest part. It's the decision to lose the weight. I found myself struggling with that. And, you know, I think the trick for me it wasn't that I just struggled with the decision to lose weight and then made the decision. It wasn't that. It was, first I explored the metrics. I explored the process for a couple of days, and then I just went like this. I went, it's just math. It's just a little bit of math. It's just a little bit of metrics tracking, right? And I thought, let's give it a try. Let's do it. And so that decision became a lot easier for me when I had all the tools in place. And I think that the part of the decision of not knowing what was going on was the fear of the unknown, right? So how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? How am I going to achieve this? And I think a lot of that was weighing on me. And even though I had done this in the past before, bear in mind, and I think I mentioned this, in the past, I just did visual calorie reduction. I just looked at food and said, I'm going to eat less. And that was like sheer willpower, right? And I had to have that willpower available to me at every meal. And it wasn't always possible, right? So, you know, I was operating without any sort of support mechanism. It was just pure willpower. I had a desire to lose my weight, right? I had good reasons and I had a desire to lose my weight. So I went ahead and lost that weight, but it took me 6 months to lose my weight. And I was thinking, boy, I got to go through that whole process again. And I don't know if I've got the willpower, and I don't know if I can do this, blah, 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 blah. This, way easier, way easier. So I think that struggling with my decision was about struggling with not knowing how. And this right here, this leading and lagging metrics kind of gathering and sort of understanding calories, specific calories in each type of food that we eat, and taking the time, taking the 1 or 2 days to prepare, to do the research and look it up, that made my decision a lot easier. That made it going from, this is a tough decision because I don't know what's going on, to, you know exactly how to do this. Why don't you give it a try? Do it for 2 days. Do it for 3 days. Do it for 4 days. You can do anything for 3 or 4 days. And that's why I didn't start posting videos until like about a week into this, because I didn't know how I was going to feel about it. But wow, it worked. And it made my decision a lot easier. It just did. I was able to flow into this. And now I've got this motivation. I've got this can-do attitude, right? I know that I can lose the next 17 pounds in 47 days. Why do I know that? Because I've lost 13 pounds in 13 days. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back for that. It's just that I've tracked my metrics. Like even if I had lost 13 pounds in 26 days, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be very, very happy. That's a phenomenal weight loss metric. But because I'm keeping track of this, it's giving me the motivation. I'm just looking at it, and I'm not spending a lot of time on this every day. Spending the time to make these videos and prepare for them. But in terms of the metrics tracking, it's probably 15 minutes a day. Maybe 15 minutes a day. And I mean, that includes the meal prep calorie counting, the whole 9 yards. 15 minutes a day. Do I have 15 minutes a day to have a healthier life and a healthier body weight, a healthier body mass index, and a healthier sort of lean muscle mass to fat ratio? Do I have 15 minutes a day for that? Let me see. Yeah, I do. I've got 15 minutes. And by me saying 15 minutes, I actually think it's less than that. I think it can be down to like maybe 5 or 6 minutes. It's really not a big deal. And I have to ask myself, how lazy am I for not doing this, right? How lazy am I? I laid down last night on my back and fell asleep without any type of obstructive sleep apnea effect. I was able to fall asleep and sleep for 5 hours. Again, I was able to sleep for 4 or 5 hours straight without waking up, struggling with falling asleep and having to rotate myself on a shoulder that hurts. And now my shoulder feels great because I'm not sleeping on it. How lazy am I to not have done that over the last couple of years, right? Well, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm doing it now, right? So now's the best time to get this done. And I'm telling you, tracking some leading and some lagging metrics will change your ability to make your decision on this stuff. And, that's something that I look at and think about and study in the kind of work that I've done, is how do you get folks to do the things that need to be done for themselves and for their teams or corporations or associations or for organizations or for just anything. How do you get folks to do the things that need to be done in spite of their emotional objections to it? Well, part of the way to do it is to just get them motivated. And I found that metrics motivate me. That's what I get. It's something that's simple, it's easy to measure, and I can motivate. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And it's working really well. Wasn't hungry yesterday, just FYI. I don't know why. Had the same number of calories as I did the day before. Probably 4 or 5 less. But I wasn't hungry on Thursday the way I was on Wednesday. Wednesday was, I don't know what it was. I was just like growling and I was hangry, right? I was just not feeling great. But yesterday I wasn't hungry. And I'm rested. I'm fatigued because I don't think I'm taking in the kind of calories and I'm not getting the energy from glucose that I normally get, but I'm getting less fatigued. I'm more alert. I'm more alert on less caffeine, which is kind of weird because I love my coffee. I'm about to have some right now, but I'm more alert with less caffeine. That's the one thing that I've noticed. And I'm able to kind of drag through my afternoon without dragging. I'm able to get through my afternoon. I'm able to bounce through my afternoon right now without wanting to fall asleep at my desk. And again, I only have 2 of these in the morning. So I've just found that I've got more energy, just got more clarity. There's less fog. Maybe all those carbs weren't so good. Maybe my body reacts to carbs the way that is not good, right? So I'm gonna cut those out. I'm gonna try to make a more permanent change here, and we'll see what happens. Another metric that I really liked was yesterday is I needed to go to the store to get something from Home Depot, and I thought I'd whip on a pair of jeans because it was cold outside, and so swapped out my house track pants for a pair of jeans, and they were loose. They were loose. I hadn't worn them in a little while, and probably a couple of weeks. They were loose. I could pull them out, and I could tell that I was at least a belt size smaller. I could tell that. And I went downstairs. I showed my wife, and very happy about that because I've got all my thin clothes right from the past, and I want to get back into my thin clothes. Because my plump clothes I'm done wearing that stuff, right? It doesn't fit well. I never look good in that stuff, so I'm not happy with that. But I'm looking forward to getting back into my thin clothes. I've gone ahead and emptied my closet space so that I can rearrange my closet and put my thin clothes back in there. But nice to see that I'm losing a belt notch every 10 pounds or so. They say it's about every 10 pounds you lose about an inch of waistline, I think, as a male. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to get back down to a very low 30s, like maybe a 32 waistline. I've been there before, and I think that's a healthy waistline for me. Maybe, who knows what else I could achieve there. So looking forward to that, and that's the process so far. So that's my update for today. I hope you find these videos useful. If you have any comments or suggestions, please put them down in the comments below. And let me know how you're doing. If you're doing a diet, let me know what you're doing and let me know how you're approaching it. If you're taking a radically different approach, like fasting, put it in there. Let me know how you're doing. I've tried fasting. It's tough. I have a hard time with fasting. That not knowing when my next meal is kind of weird. And trying to see how far I go, and then crashing in 4 hours because I thought I could go another extra day or an extra meal without it. It doesn't work for me. But I know that my next meal is in 2 hours. So I know that. So I know I can make it to my next meal, right? Even though it's a small meal, I know I can make it to my next meal. So I like my diet, and hope you're learning something from this, and hope you're trying to achieve the same kinds of things. Here are my metrics for today, and good luck to you.